Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we're talking about Scotland. Scotland in the World Cup and how you guys can reach the historic feat, which is going to the next round. There are three ways you can do it. First one, easy, beat Brazil. Second one, draw or tie against Brazil. Third one, even if you lose against Brazil, there are a few things that can happen for you to go to the next stage. We're going to take a look. So get out your notebooks, your notepads, because I've been biting my nails and I've been doing the math and calculations, and we're going to check out what could happen. First thing you need to know is it doesn't matter if Haiti has the same amount of points as Scotland. If they win against Morocco 5-0, it won't matter. Scotland will still be in third place because they have already beaten Haiti. It's the new tiebreaker rule. Because Scotland already beat Haiti, if they tie in points, Scotland is already above them because they beat them. The second thing is the third place also goes to the next round, but only the 8 best, which means 4 are eliminated, which means Scotland needs to be better than only 4 teams. With that said, let's look at the teams currently in the top 8. We have Sweden in first place against Scotland, and it's not because of goal difference, it's because of fair play. We have Croatia, Algeria, Paraguay, Cape Verde, Belgium, and Czechia fighting for that spot that Scotland has. So there are 6 teams that need to be better than Scotland for Scotland to be out of the top 8. Now, 4 are under: Congo, Ecuador, Bosnia, and Senegal. However, you need to keep in mind that this is the current standing. There are other teams that also have 1 point. So many things can happen. It's not only this standing. And let's take a look at the groups, okay? So in our groups, we have Mexico, South Korea, Czechia, and South Africa. Now, South Korea has 3 points. Czechia has 1 point. South Africa has 1 point. So the next match will be Czechia versus Mexico. If Czechia loses against Mexico, it will maintain its 1 point only. And I think that is probable to happen. If South Africa loses against South Korea, then South Korea will maintain its 3 points and South Africa will only have 1 point, which means it's almost guaranteed that Mexico and South Korea will win. They could draw, and that will also not affect Scotland. So we have 1 team down. Either South Africa or Czechia will be in third place, and they both have less points than Scotland. If they tie or if they lose, they will maintain 1 point, which means it's a good chance that in Group A, there is no threat to Scotland, because apparently we think Mexico and South Korea could win these 2 matches. So that's 1 team down, only 3 to go. Okay, keep that in mind. If things go sour, Czechia winning, that is a threat, and we lose Group A in Scotland, okay? But Group A looks good. Either Czechia or South Africa will be eliminated, okay? Unless they win. They have to win. They have to win. That's the only way that they can get over Scotland. So let's say they lose or they tie. Scotland has 1 team ahead. Okay, next thing. Group B, we have Canada, Switzerland, Bosnia, and Qatar, which Bosnia and Qatar have 1 point each. And that's where things get a little bit difficult, because Qatar and Bosnia are going to fight for that 3rd place. If Bosnia wins, it will be above Scotland in points. This is assuming Scotland loses versus Brazil. If Bosnia wins and they have a great team, then Scotland goes down 1 spot. If Qatar wins, Scotland also goes down 1 spot. So Group B is a tricky situation because Bosnia might win against Qatar. Okay, and it doesn't matter the goal difference because they already have 1 point. If they win, they will have 4 points. They will automatically be above Scotland. Either one of them So what we want over here is a tie. We don't want any of these two to win, because either of these two in Group B, if they win, then then Scotland is screwed in Group B. Okay? So what we want over here is a tie. The best case scenario here is a tie. We don't want any of them to win. Okay? They have to tie. And it doesn't matter, Canada, Switzerland's game, they're already, kind of guaranteed to go to the next phase. Although if Canada wins against Switzerland, Switzerland still has 4 points. It doesn't matter. That game doesn't matter. What we want here is a tie. So keep that in mind. We want a tie. Then we have Paraguay versus Australia. So Group C is, Scotland's team, Scotland's group. Let's look at Group D. We have US with 3 points, we have Australia with 3 points, and we have Paraguay with 3 points, and they have a -3 goal difference. So what we want to happen here is not a tie. We want Australia to win. Now, what are the chances of Australia winning against Paraguay? So Australia won against Turkey, Paraguay tied. So wait, Paraguay won against Turkey as well. Paraguay won Turkey, Australia won Turkey, and they both lost to the United States. So I don't know. It's 50-50 here. I want Australia to win. That will guarantee Group D for Scotland. But anything could happen here. If they tie, that's bad for Scotland. Australia needs to win. Australia needs to win. So right now, I don't know. It's 50-50. I only have one that is kind of guaranteed, which is the first one, because I think Mexico and South Korea could win. And even if they tie, that's still good for Scotland. So I'm not going to count this one in. We only have one chance here, 1 point, one guaranteed thing. Let's go to Group E. In Group E, Germany has 6 points. Ivory Coast has 3 points. So Ecuador is going to play against Germany. That means if they lose, Ecuador will maintain its 1 point. And Ivory Coast is going to play Curaçao, which means Curaçao will maintain its 1 point. So, I mean, let's be real. I think Germany will win against Ecuador. And even if they tie, it will be 1 point. So that means Ecuador or Curaçao, if they lose or tie their matches, and Ecuador is playing Germany, and Curaçao is playing Ivory Coast, which Ivory Coast they beat France in their friendlies, and they almost beat Germany, and they're playing very well. So I think they're going to win against Curaçao. So I'm going to give these two teams, I think this is a good chance for Scotland. So we have two teams, either Ecuador or Curaçao, who's going to be below Scotland. That's the good news, okay? Because I don't think Ecuador is going to beat Germany, and I don't think Curaçao is going to beat Ivory Coast. So I'm going to say there are two teams that are almost guaranteed to be below Scotland, which means we have two teams left, okay? The next thing we need to look at is Japan versus Sweden. Japan versus Sweden. So Sweden only has 3 points, but they are above the Netherlands. Sorry. They are above Scotland. The Netherlands has 4 points. Japan has 4 points. So that doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. What matters is the match of Sweden versus Japan. Tunisia, it doesn't matter if they win against the Netherlands. They will need to have a 9-goal difference. They will need to beat the Netherlands 9-0. So that's not realistic. That's not realistic. And also, because they already lost against Sweden, they will never be third place because of the tiebreaker rule. Keep that in mind. So the only match in this Group F that matters is Japan versus Sweden. Japan versus Sweden. If Japan wins, and it wins Sweden with a better goal difference than Brazil, let's say Brazil wins 2-0 against Scotland, and let's say Japan wins 3-0, that means Scotland will go above Sweden. Okay, keep that in mind as well. If they tie, Sweden will still maintain its position above Scotland. Now, let's say if Japan wins 2-0 against Sweden and Brazil wins 2-0 against Sweden, but Sweden gets a red card or a yellow card, or they get something that is less fair play, that means Scotland will still be above Sweden. Okay, so that's another thing. Now, this is a tough match. I don't know who's going to win. I think Japan might win, but I don't know if they're going to have like 3-goal difference or anything that will help Scotland here. So we're still going to maintain the two teams that are almost guaranteed below Scotland. Okay. Are you guys still with me? The next group is Group G. We have Belgium versus New Zealand. Now, in this group, we have Egypt with 4 points, so that doesn't help Scotland. But we have Iran with 2 points, Belgium with 2 points, and New Zealand with 1 point. Okay? So in this case, in this scenario, a tie will do. We don't want Belgium to win. We don't want New Zealand to win. Because if they both win, if either of them win, they will be above Scotland. Okay? However, even if one of these two win, I think Belgium might win this one. Even if Belgium wins this one, that will take Belgium to second place or even first place. Now, Egypt needs to beat Iran. That needs to happen. Egypt needs to beat Iran. Now, again, I don't know out of these two teams who might be the strongest. I think Egypt. And I think it's almost guaranteed that Egypt will beat Iran. So let's say Egypt beats Iran. Or if Egypt just ties against Iran, then that will be 3 teams. Iran will be eliminated, and there will be 3 teams. So Group G is a little bit of a not 100% guaranteed because it could go either way. Okay? Keep that in mind. So Egypt needs to win or tie against Iran for Scotland to be above. And there needs to be a goal difference because Iran has a 0 goal difference. But I believe Iran has like a red card or something, so fair play would put Scotland above them. But chances are that Egypt are going to beat Iran. So those are 3 teams. Iran would be below Scotland. Okay? This is the full breakdown. Next, we have Group H. Spain with 4 points, Uruguay with 2 points. Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia. Cabo Verde has 2 points and Saudi Arabia has 1 point. This needs to be a tie. If this is not a tie, either one, whoever wins between Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia will be above Scotland. Now, even if they win and are above Scotland, there's a chance that we can still win in Group H. And when I say we, I mean Scotland. So what needs to happen, if any of these two win, then Spain needs to beat Uruguay. And there's a big chance that Spain wins against Uruguay. If Spain wins against Uruguay, Uruguay will be 3rd place. And then Scotland will be above Uruguay because Uruguay has only 2 points. Do you get me? Now, if Uruguay wins against Spain, then there's nothing Group H can do for Scotland. But let's say I'm almost sure that Uruguay will lose against Spain. So that's the number 4 we need. That is number 4. That is the elimination number 4 we need. But let's say, Uruguay beats Spain and Cabo Verde beats Saudi Arabia. Then Scotland will not have Group H. We still have Senegal versus Iraq. Now, what happens here? Senegal has 0 points. Iraq has 0 points. They have a goal difference of, let's say, Senegal has a -3 goal difference and Iraq has a -6 goal difference. So the only way that Senegal can get above Scotland is if they beat Iraq 4-0. And Iraq has been shown a great defense. So I would say Senegal will probably tie or beat Iraq by 2-0 max because Iraq has a strong defense. So Iraq would be, or Senegal would be the 5th team under. There would be the 5th team under Scotland. Then we have Algeria versus Austria. Algeria and Austria both have 3 points. If they tie, they will still go through. Okay? The best case scenario is if Austria beats Algeria here, because Algeria has a goal difference of -3. They have 3 points, but they have a goal difference of -3. So the best thing to happen here is for Austria to beat Algeria. If that happens, Algeria will still be below Scotland. So we have 6 chances. Let's go to the next one. We have Group K over here. That is Colombia with 6 points, Portugal with 4 points. Now, this is something that I don't think is going to be an advantage for Scotland, because I think Congo will beat Uzbekistan. If they tie, that's great for Scotland. That's what we want to see, a tie. But Congo will probably beat Uzbekistan, and Congo will be with 4 points, which will be above Scotland. So there's nothing, I'm not going to count that one in. But we do have Croatia versus Ghana. So Group L has England with 4 points, Ghana with 4 points. Nothing we can do over there. Okay? Ghana and England, 4 points each. Nothing we can do there. But if Croatia loses to Ghana, then that will be 6 teams below Scotland. Okay? If Panama wins, it doesn't really matter. Right? And I don't think they're going to win against England. So we're looking for a win of Ghana. It cannot tie. If it ties, then Scotland will be below Croatia and Ghana. So this needs to be a win for Ghana. And basically, with all that said, Scotland has a 6-1 chance of going through. Unless everything goes wrong, unless South Korea ties or loses. Actually, if they tie, it's not a problem. But it's very unlikely that Germany will lose, that South Korea will lose, that Mexico will lose. It's very unlikely that will happen. So I hope this gave you some clarity to how much or how likely Scotland can go through even if they lose against Brazil. So I think you guys have a good chance. There's a 6-1 chance. And I think those odds are very good. And other things can happen too. Scotland only needs 4 teams below them. And right now, by all means, like all logic, 6 will likely be below them. So we still have 2, dark horses to happen. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you on the next video. I hope this made sense. And good luck to Scotland. And we'll be watching the game. Take care. Bye-bye.